Ayan, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Ako si Christine Valerio from Family Planning Organization of the Philippines, and I'll be presenting to you the unsafe abortion and disaster context research conducted by Family Planning by FPOP. I'll try to make it as concise as possible dahil din very limited ang time no na mayroon ng FPOP today to discuss this very huge and broad research on unsafe abortion in disaster context. So I think later naman magkakaroon tayo ng question and answer. If you have any question, you can just raise it after the discussion. After this, a very concise discussion of the research findings uh, of the of FPOP. So quickly, ang sabi no, ang Pilipinas in the 2023 World Risk Index, it navigates the vulnerability and exposure of countries in disaster. Unang-una tayo, no? We actually rank the highest out of 193 countries in the world. Tayo ang pinaka-vulnerable at pinakamataas ang exposure when it comes to disaster. And vulnerable because exposure because of the typhoons. We experience a lot of typhoons every year and earthquake. And at the same time, vulnerability is founded on the idea that the lack of governance, no, governance in terms of responding to disaster is one of the key characteristics or features that the World Risk Index has looked into. The second thing is that during disaster, uh, healthcare system is interrupted and infrastructures are destroyed. So in this research, Family Planning Organization, FPOP navigates the intersection between the disaster situation in the Philippines and its link to abortion. This study was conducted mainly in Surigao and in Manila. So we will be presenting three main findings today. First is that the disasters aggravate the existing sexual and reproductive health issues and intersectional vulnerabilities. Sabi, katulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, health facilities are disrupted and also the health professionals are distressed. Even FPOP na as a service provider and a lot of service providers in the LGU level or local government units level, nagiging biktima rin, no? Yung mismong mga responders or health professionals during disaster, they too become victims of this, the impact of disasters. And so, during disaster, madalas, no? Madalas na laging nagiging pagresponde, pamamaraan ng pagbibigay at pagresponde ay ang pinakabasihan, no? Pinakabatayan ay yung pagbibigay ng pagkain, yung mga tinatawag nilang basic needs. And so, the access to sexual and reproductive health services are being left behind most of the time. And secondly, during disaster, although it impacts the whole population, women still bear the brunt of the effects of disaster. Bakit? Sabi, ang babae, they often face greater vulnerability because to start with, they lack access to resources, they experience social exclusion, and they are in the lower income, no? Pag sinasabi natin na greater vulnerability. And in many studies, marami nang nagpatunay, no? Na kapag panahon ng disaster, women are more likely to experience gender-based violence. And another key findings that we have is that during disaster, dahil hampered, no? Yung mga institutions mo, wala kang, ang mga health professionals mo ay distressed din. And so, nagkakaroon ng limited access to SRH services. And so, that risk of unintended pregnancy. And according to Guttmacher Institute study from 2015 to 2019, sabi nila, the majority of pregnancy in the Philippines is actually unintended. And of all the unintended pregnancies in the country, 51% ended in abortion. And like what Ms. Pauline has presented earlier, 1.1 million induced abortion ang nararanasan natin kada taon according to the study of UPPI, University of the Philippines Population Institute before the pandemic. So we already have 1.1 million. And with that, ang sinasabi na isa sa mga mayor no, na dahilan kung bakit ang mga kababaihan tuwing disaster during normal times, bakit bakit sila, no, nagre-resort doon sa abortion. And because of the economic difficulties, isa sa mga mayor na lumabas dito sa pananaliksik na ito ay ang kahirapan. One of the responders said that even without disasters, women need to accessing unsafe abortion due to poverty. At kung titingnan sa panahon ng disaster, lalong iba't iba, no? These economic vulnerabilities or difficulties exacerbate and other intersectional barriers, such as discrimination, violence, like what I mentioned earlier. And the other key findings that we have in this research is that there are restrictive laws and policies that threaten women's lives. I think Attorney Padilla has already mentioned earlier, no? She presented a very comprehensive discussion on how policies and laws restrict women's bodily integrity. And in addition to that, what we also want to share is that despite these laws, these restrictive laws in the country, we also have laws, no, and guidelines that should protect women's human rights or sexual and reproductive health rights. Andito sa atin ang Magna Carta, meron tayong responsible parenthood and reproductive health law. And during disaster, we also have, no, the humanitarian responders have developed the minimum initial service package for sexual and reproductive health in emergencies. And we also have the disaster risk reduction response, no, in the country. And from that, the different organizations, including FPOP, Pinsan, have already, no, have been advocating for the decriminalization based on these laws that should provide women's rights and also waging, no, that very idea that women's bodily integrity, sexual and reproductive health is definitely a human right. Pangalawa, no, doon sa mga tinitignan na hadlang ng pananaliksik na ito is that the second key finding is that it navigates and it tells that cultural barriers jeopardize women's bodily integrity. Binanggit kanina, Ms. Pauline has already presented earlier that the countries, no, that legalize abortion. However, according to studies, even in countries where abortion is legal, women remain to suffer from stigma, hindering them to access abortion. Lalong-lalo na sa mga bansang katulad ng Pilipinas na ito ay illegal. We suffer from various forms of discrimination and stigma. We suffer from conservative religious beliefs. Sabi ng isa sa mga responders ng research, sabi niya, abortion is equivalent to murder. In the eyes of God, it is an immortal sin. Therefore, regardless of the circumstances, the child must be kept alive even in the midst of a disaster. Being a victim of a calamity is not a valid reason for abortion. And in addition to these conservative religious beliefs, we also have these institutional norms. Sinasabi, no, these are the norms perpetrated by the decision makers, by the duty bearers, by the health service providers. And in fact, when we presented this research, no, in the field, one of the health service providers stated that she is really against any forms, no, of abortion o anuman, no, na pamamaraan ito, anuman yung dahilan, anumang mga salik na nagtutulak sa babae, bakit sila nagre-resort, no? Bakit nila pinipili na ang abortion? And so, from that, we see, no, how the institutions, even the health service providers, are hindering this access, no, to abortion. And these institutional norms are highly prevalent among young people seeking sexual and reproductive health. Kahit din mismong pag-access, no, ng SRH services, katulad ng contraception, these are being hindered, especially to young people. And in that light, no, where abortion is illegal and deeply stigmatized, women are often left with no options. Ano yung iniiwan sa kanila? Facing death as the only outcome. And from that, no, isa doon sa nais ding itulak, no, ng FPOP sa kanyang pananaliksik na ito, na sa gitna ng pagiging illegal, no, sa batas ng Pilipinas at ang mga nararanasan nating stigma and social norms, we also seek, no, there are a lot of organizations seeking urgent harm reduction strategies, which are vital to save lives. Sabi ng isa sa mga responders, while advocating for decriminalizing abortion and combating associated stigma, immediate measures are needed to mitigate the harmful impact of restrictive abortion policies on women's health and choices. Ano yung mga maaaring maging pamamaraan? So, FPOP, our service providers in the field, and a lot of organizations are actually conducting different strategies such as counseling. FPOP provides post-abortion care in order to empower women with accurate information and options to enable them to make informed decisions. This is also to minimize the risks of complications. And from those main findings that we are presenting with you, we also have the broad recommendations from the legal reform to decriminalize abortion and to strengthen also healthcare infrastructure, community engagement and education in order to understand the social norms in the communities held by the community members and even the decision makers, duty bearers, and health service providers. And lastly is to have a policy implementation and monitoring. So these very broad recommendations are being presented to different communities and LGUs. And so to craft a tailored fit, a context specific recommendation in the community, in the LGU. And from there, what the research would like us to really understand is that during disaster, sabi, yung stigma, yung pagiging restrictive, ng ating mga batas, andyan siya, sa normal na panahon. And it exacerbates, these limitations exacerbate during disaster. So the legal limitations and social attitudes that perpetuate the cycle of vulnerability are being exacerbated, like what I already mentioned, in the disaster scenario. So it is imperative for us to consider also not only that during disaster, to consider disasters not only as crisis, like what I have mentioned earlier, we also have to consider it that that during disaster, it is also an opportunity for us to advocate for social change. So yun lang, I think our presentation today is very short, but we will